right, guys, welcome back to another video. It is getting closer and closer to everybody being able to get their hands on a Starfield. Game is releasing September 6th. If you have the premium or the Constellation edition, you can play the game starting September 1st. And we got tons of news for Starfield yesterday. First of all, the game has now gone gold. There was a lot of people complaining. They were worried that Starfield hadn't gone gold yet. Pete Hines chimed in and said that they have a great team and to just trust them. And now officially the game is complete. It is ready to be shipped out, ready for people to play. And preloads are actually beginning today on Xbox and August 30th on Steam. So you can go ahead and preload the game. Now the game itself is actually a massive game, which is not surprising with the scope that we've seen so far from Starfield. It's 126.1 gigabytes on the Xbox Series X and 139.84 gigabytes on PC. So a massive game. You're going to have a huge amount of your hard drive, your SSD dedicated to Starfield, which just tells me that this game is going to be so expansive. You're going to be able to spend so much of your time exploring this world and just going around. I can't wait for this game to be released. Now, in terms of more information about the actual game itself, what we can expect from it, there was a Q&A yesterday, and there's a lot of good information there that is increasing my hype, and it's getting people even more excited for the game. And that's not the only thing. We are going to be getting Gamescom next week, so keep your eyes out for that because we will be getting more info about Starfield there as well. But this was the Q&A, and Clobro on Twitter did a very good summary of basically everything that they talked about that you're probably going to be interested in. If you're wondering about some of the mechanics, some of the way that this game is going to work in terms of factions, in terms of getting people on your team, your companions, all of that type of stuff. So it says here, there's a housing in all major cities that players can get. Some you have to purchase and some are rewards for specific quests. So you can get housing, build up your base, all of that stuff, which isn't surprising. It's cool to see that that is there. This part here, again, not surprising from a Bethesda RPG, but also just happy that this is in the game because you really are going to be able to play the way you want to play. It says if you commit a crime, you can elect to go to jail or pay a fine when you're arrested, or even resist arrest and try to escape. The civilizations have governments and laws. So I wonder, I'm starting to think here, all of the different ways you're going to be able to disobey the government, disobey the laws, and try to complete quests. Are you going to have to disobey the government and laws, or can you go about it by following all of the rules set out in the area that you are in and complete quests that way? That's going to be super cool to see the different ways you're going to be able to go about every single option that you have within this game. I feel like everybody's going to have a different outcome. I know myself, I always tend towards doing the stuff that gets me arrested in these big RPGs. Like I'm probably going to be breaking the laws. I'm definitely going to be going against the government in the game and just doing anything there that probably puts me on their radar. So I'm going to have to be pretty sneaky going around as I enter the new areas. We'll see. Maybe I end up changing my mind if it just gets too ridiculous and too hard and I can't complete quests that way. But just thinking about all the different outcomes has me extremely excited. It says here, certain items are considered contraband. You'll need to smuggle them past security ships that are in orbit of major settlements. You can hide them using special ship modules. So that will be cool. Knowing that as you're going on your adventure, you're going to have to make sure that what you have in your inventory isn't contraband, or if it is, finding ways to get past the security or whatever they have out there to get them into these different settlements. All of the playable factions can be completed independently. So the question here is, are there going to be different storylines, different endings, all of that type of stuff? I mean, clearly there will be different storylines with different quests, different decisions that you have to make. But when the storyline ends, how will these endings differ from each other? And will your friend have a completely different outcome than you have if they're using a different faction? So that stuff, I mean, I don't want to know that, honestly. I kind of want to just play through this organically and then go talk to somebody who has also played and see how my game has different from their game. I think that's going to be some of the coolest conversations that people have as they're playing through Starfield. And it's seemingly a massive game that there's going to be so many different interactions that people are going to be able to compare. It says there are over 20 named characters who can join your crew. All of these have their own background, strengths, weaknesses, and stories. So you're going to be able to learn about whoever you want to learn. Maybe you don't want to learn about all 20. Maybe right off the bat, you dislike some of the characters who are on your crew. you don't really care about hearing their backstory, but then there'll probably be others in there that you have a great attachment to, which is going to be cool. And companions have a huge role in the game, part of the main story. So those were some of the main things during this Q&A with Starfield. I can't wait. I mean, this game is sounding, it's just every time they talk about it, every time we see more about it, every time there is any sort of information that we hadn't seen previously come out, the hype just continues to grow. And we also have this, I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but this isn't the first tweet that I've seen about this. I'm just putting this one up here because it was one that I was able to find. It says, the drunk cat, who's the person who tweets it, can confirm someone I know is playing Starfield, and they can also confirm that it's very good and not just Skyrim in space. And I think we've kind of seen hints about that already. People already have the game in their hands, I believe. They're doing the reviews. It's probably so big that they had to give reviewers and play testers, all that type of stuff, lots of time before the actual launch of the game itself. And it's gold now. So this is the product that we are going to be getting when it does release. So exciting. I think that is going to meet all the expectations, and hopefully on September 1st, we're on here all talking about it. I may stream it. I mean, I'm sure everybody is going to be playing it at the same time. Maybe they won't want to watch me streaming it, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun time. Now, besides Starfield and the actual hype for the game, we also have this. And this is the funny, ridiculous side of a very hyped up game that is exclusive to a platform. You always have the fanboy internet zealots angry that they aren't able to access it, which the reality is all they have to do is sign up to Xbox Game Pass and play it on literally any device that they want, and they'll be able to play Starfield. But that isn't good enough. They want to make sure that the user scores on sites like Metacritic are low, and they're getting ready to review bomb the hell out of Starfield. We will probably see a ton of that. This is a tweet here for Peter Ovo saying, PlayStation fanboys getting ready to review bomb Xbox exclusive Starfield. And he says, I doubt he can create 1,000 accounts alone. This is just one tweet. There are many other tweets out there that you're seeing people saying that they do want to review bomb the game. This person saying, starting 1 out of 1,000 accounts, goodbye Starfield score, getting ready to log into Metacritic. Then we have this, hope they make more review bombs, already have 25 accounts ready for release, a little payback for The Last of Us, Horizon, Gran Turismo, all the PlayStation games that Xbox like to review bomb. This person says, look, don't worry, I've spoken to a ton of PlayStation gamers. I know one who has 600 Metacritic SOC accounts ready to zero the game. You're in good hands. So these zealots are ready to review bomb Starfield. And here is the thing about this. First of all, I mean, Metacritic needs to get a handle on the review scores. I think maybe implement something so that the review bombing isn't a thing, because it really does hurt the way that people are able to look at these review scores and get any sort of information of it. I think user review scores are extremely important. I think that they actually provide a lot of information if it's a user who's actually played the game and provides real feedback, because you can't always trust all of the big media sites when it comes to reviews of games. Just the way that the industry works, there definitely is bias from the big reviewers who are reviewing the game one way or another. We don't know what their bias is, but there probably is bias for Starfield or against Starfield, and that may affect their score. Maybe they don't like a small part of the game. Maybe there's some political stuff in the game they disagree with, which would affect the score. All of these types of things can affect these big media sites in terms of how they review these games. But if you have tons of users who've actually played the game, you can kind of get an average breakdown as to where the game really does stand in its performance and in its how it actually is reviewed. Is it an 8? Is it a 9? Because you're going to have enough accounts that have played enough of the game to give a real opinion. And of course, with user review scores, there is also bias there. I just think there's so much more opportunity with the amount of people that play games that aren't affiliated with these big media sites to provide reviews. It kind of will level out where the score is going to land. I could be wrong on that, but that's just the way I see it. So it'd be cool if Metacritic and these other like OpenCritic and stuff like that, I'm not sure how they do, but if they're able to make sure people play these games, I think that would be very valuable. But the second point here, after that little rant, is it makes zero difference. If the user review scores for Starfield on Metacritic literally ends up being 0, it will make zero difference on how this game performs. It's not going to have any effect on if people play it. It's not going to have any effect if it's well received, all of that type of stuff. It's just people wasting their time because they're angry that this is an Xbox game. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe there will be not nearly enough negative user review scores to have a huge effect, and there will be way more positive or just realistic review scores from users, where the Metacritic user score actually does end up being somewhat representative as to how this game is. But we will see. We'll see what happens. I personally not even going to really pay attention. The game is going to be incredible from everything that we are seeing. I feel like there is almost no doubt now that the game has gone gold a couple of weeks before. They're ready. They're excited. It is ready for everybody to jump in and start playing it. Now, it wasn't just Starfield that had some news yesterday. We also got some pretty good information here about Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush has exceeded 3 million players, which I think is a huge success for a game that was stealth dropped, that doesn't have a previous base of consumers that have played, that doesn't have previous fans because it was the first one that was released, and it is a brand new IP that is now a huge stronghold, I think, in the Xbox catalog, because Hi-Fi Rush, in my opinion, is a game of the year candidate. I absolutely loved it, everything about it, and it was just such a treat that came out of nowhere. Now 3 million people have played it. You can bet a huge part of that is because of Xbox Game Pass and just having access to all of those people. It's not just because people on Game Pass, but the people on Game Pass spreading the word about a game that is a very, very good game. So kudos to Tango Gameworks and Hi-Fi Rush, and I can't wait to see a sequel and what else comes out of the Tango Gameworks development team. So that is another cool thing. And then we have this, which is interesting in the sense that kind of is like Discord, but it's with Microsoft Teams. And that is the fact that you are now able to stream your gameplay to friends via the Xbox Game Bar on your PC using the Microsoft Teams Play Together. I don't know how many people actually would use this feature, how many people use Microsoft Teams outside of like a work setting. I know that's really the only reason I use Microsoft Teams, for gaming and stuff, for leisurely gaming, and just for my hobbies. It's Discord where I go to when I'm on PC. So that would be the feature I use. And we know that they brought this streaming feature from Discord to the actual Xbox platform. But if you're on PC and you do use Microsoft Teams, you're now actually going to be able to stream games. It says here the integration is fairly basic. So they briefly tested out streaming Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and while the picture quality was solid across the web and mobile clients, was very much streaming at 30 frames per second or less, which is not how you want to watch a stream of a PC game. So there is that there. I believe in Discord as well, though. If you don't subscribe to Discord Nitro, you're only getting like 720p 30 frames per second. If you subscribe to Nitro, it's like 1080p 60 FPS and maybe even 4K. But yeah, Microsoft Teams here, if you're somebody who uses that and you're on PC, you're now going to be able to stream your games via the Microsoft Play Together. But I'm going to leave the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
We'll be right back.